Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Tuesday afternoon, February 16th. We are looking at the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. And although we gapped higher and filled it in B period, the bulls have to be kind of happy with themselves. We battled in and out of M's range and Friday's range the entire day. So they basically defended the price probe from Friday. Yes, we got into it in F, but we stayed there for barely seconds. And without a doubt, the SPY and ES acted a lot better than the Russell and the NASDAQ today. We hit new all-time highs in every index except Russell. Let's go to the Russell. We'll start there. So they gapped to it. Now, a little disappointment in the Russell. They gapped higher out of an inside day and battled it A, B, and C, and then really never came out of it again. They do kind of end up with a B shape for long liquidation. Sellers had a chance to take out Friday's low and attempt an outside day down, never got it. They end 9 wide. So basically, the Russell is now in a 6-day balance. Everybody's probably calling for the death of the Russell. Not yet. Still up in the monthly, still up in the weekly, and the dailies in balance. A 6-day balance, okay, with 9 wide. Triple Qs, little more disappointment. They go out with a double distribution. So they gap to an all-time high, do not get their overnight all-time high. They also end 9 wide, but end with a trend day down as they never filled the singles in D period. So a double distribution. A's low to the day's high, E's high to the day's low, 9 wide. However, they're still one-time framing up for 3 days. So basically, they're still up in the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. Again, you could call balance or you could call it balance to up. As far as we're concerned, we gap to a new all-time high, but we don't come close to the overnight all-time high. We end 12 out of 13 wide, higher value all day, really a lot of indecision. We traded in a very tight range. Once E&F pushed lower, got nothing for it, we basically traded sideways all afternoon. We go out with an afternoon rally high in K and 12 wide. I had a good day trading. Again, I didn't do much after F. I traded today's expirations. I had 1 loss on the day. Everything else was a winner, and it turned out some of them were really good winners. And I'll go over those in a second. So A period. I took a long, the 392 calls when we traded down against the gap, seeing if we pop back up above it. If we hold it, that worked out. Then in B, right before B took out A's low, I took a 395 put play to go fill the gap, and that worked out very nicely. Covered it when we did fill the gap. C period. I took a long, and this is, I took a 10 call long against B's low, and I actually held it for a while. I ended up losing on it. Believe it or not, I lost like $800 on it. I'll go over that in a second. But I didn't get, the reason that I didn't mind that is because the money I made on the trades I made in F. So I took a 10 call long play. I said if we take out B's low, I'll get out of it. But I never did. It was just hanging. I did nothing in D, E, so now F. F period, I was like, well, we're starting a one-time frame down. I took a 100 put position of the 394 puts in F when we came back up, came back down, took out E's low. Took out the rest of them. It was a beautiful trade. And then I finally took off those 10. So even though I lost 800 on those, I made a hell of a lot more on my 100 put play. And then as soon as I covered them, I reversed and bought 50 calls against the price probe of the 390 calls, and they immediately went right back up. So basically knocked the cover off the ball on a 100 put play at about, I'm not sure where I took it. It was somewhere around C's low, which turned out to be beautiful. And then again on the 50 call plays, it went back up. After that, the only 2 trades I took a long. I basically faded when I made a new low around G's low of the 391 calls, which worked out. And I did the same thing in K on the 391 calls. Didn't do anything in L and M. Turned out to be a very nice day overall. Okay, destinations for tomorrow. We are 392.85, 12 wide to the upside. Then we have the afternoon rally high, K's high of 393.29. Then we have today's all-time high and poor high at 394.17 and the pre-market high of 395.35. So good odds we see that again. Doesn't have to be tomorrow, doesn't have to be this week, but at some point with a poor high and the overnight being the all-time high, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we get them. For the downside, we have today's low of 391.53. Then we have the afternoon pullback of 390.51 from the 12th. 389.77, that daily low. 388.79, that afternoon pullback low from the 11th. And 388.01 daily low. Now let's go to the charts. I'm going to show you just the weekly and the daily. So the weekly. We gapped higher on the weekly but failed. It filled. However, we are one time framing up right now, 3 weeks. Just like we're one time framing up 4 months. Healthy. Did we get distance away from last week's high? No. But neither did we get totally accepted inside of it. We closed right around it. Now, very, very important. Last week's range was $5.40. Keep that in mind, because it'll be very, very easy to take out both last week's high, which we already did, and last week's low. Keep that in mind with 3 days to go in the week. Daily. I'm still calling it up since we've came out of it, that inside day. I'm giving the buyers the benefit of the doubt, one time framing up for 2 days. The reason I'm giving the buyers the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to go back to the profile, is because sellers had every opportunity in the world to force this down below the price probe, get the 8 wide POC, get the pullback from Friday. We never got near it. Except for M late, we never got really close once we E and F were rejected. Does that mean it can't happen? Of course not. It could happen tomorrow. We can gap lower tomorrow. But I'm still keeping a couple things in mind. 12 out of 13 wide, poor high at the all-time high, and overnight all-time high. Now, if we open tomorrow, get the POC, and fail at K's high, I have no problem taking a short. Because like I said, last week's range was very small. Doesn't mean we can't take out last week's low and keep a poor high and an overnight high as the highs. Everything's got to be left on the table. But that remains to be seen tomorrow. As far as where we open, how we react if we get near POC, how we react at the afternoon rally high. If we get there. I have no problem if we gap lower tomorrow and it's a legitimate gap that I'd like to take against today's low. No problem taking that short. Just keep an open mind on everything because we had such a narrow range last week, and now we have a poor high and an overnight all-time high. Hope you had a great day trading. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.